Nancy, how are you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you, Scott?
Can't complain. Well, I can. We've been doing a lot of work around the house, so I can't complain. And I'm sort of glad it's Monday, so I don't have to do all that work around the house.
It's easier to get to work, huh?
What's that? Yeah. All right, for you joining us today, thank you very much for joining. We appreciate it because we're all about, on this particular live one, we're all about retaining and subject matters associated with retaining talent, managing risk, saving money, making money, and create a business of resiliency through collaboration, innovation, education, and speed. You gotta move forward, and that's what this is all about. We've got a great lineup for this, and we're not gonna be wasting your time. We wanna get cracking right off the bat, so we're gonna be talking about a number of items that we are going to gloss over relatively quick, but just at least gain a level of attention. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Hitachi Vantara, their organization called Lumada, which is it's the light on data, shining light on data, because it's all about, you got to do so much to be able to save money, make money, and data's in it. We're going to be talking a little bit about reliability with Nancy. Can you introduce Rob's last name?
Kalwarowsky.
Right there. Rob's Reliability Project. She's got an article that she wants to sort of highlight, and then we're going to go right into some COVID news, recognize some of the challenges associated with that, and then move forward, making sure that we're moving, okay? So let's get cracking. You ready there, Nancy?
I'm ready.
So one of the things that I've been thinking about quite a bit in light of the conversations that I've had over and over and over again, not just with industry, but manufacturing, which is sort of the same thing. And they're all about how do I, once again, retain talent? How do I manage my risk? And so on and so forth. Now, the challenge with that is, one, is what do you do? What are the strategies? And some of the things that have been discussed specifically is this whole digital transformation. You know about it, Nancy. Everybody talks about digital transformation. And for me, I want to know if it really does help save money or help make money or help manage risk. And so I called on the great people at Hitachi Vantara and got some insights into their Lumada, organization that is focused on right data, right time, at the right place. And so they shared with us some real interesting conversations associated with that, and I will share away. One of the ones that I'm interested in is that Caterpillar, the shipping fleet owners needed to optimize fuel costs. Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And minimize unscheduled downtime. You know what that's about.
Yep.
So they needed, what's that?
I'm all about it.
You're all about it. They needed to minimize unscheduled downtime and vessels in the low margin shipping business. So it's competitive out there. It's commoditized out there. So what do? So they just started to deploy, looking at data. They were able to save $800,000 a year and more by cleaning the ship holes 6 times every year. They also optimized cost savings of $650,000 for the fleet. That's pretty doggone good, and that is data. Any insights into that?
Well, what I love most about it, Scott, is so you talk about, we talk about saving money, making money, that kind of thing, and managing risk. Well, really what they're doing is they're managing the consequences of failure, right? They're taking action. They're taking action. They're taking steps forward. And what's very important for all of us to remember is one small step turns into another one, into another one, into another one. And this is a really good step for them.
Yeah, and Caterpillar has done a lot up front too. They're a pretty mature organization. They probably have some really great processes in place to manage their assets effectively. So I understand, but I like, once again, you point out something that's really pretty important, and that's incrementalism, right? Let's take small steps. You don't have to take that big giant step. Just take some small steps. Yeah, well, it's pretty good. And they got another one here, and one of the other items that I have with the term digital transformation is, come on, Can I get up and running relatively fast? Because if I'm about speed, if I'm about making progress, moving forward, and trying to prosper, right? Prosper in this new world we call whatever we call it, then I got to move with sense of purpose and speed and move forward. And so a lot of these digitization programs, I had the question. I said, "Can you do it? Can you get up and running relatively quick and start seeing the value?" And they shared a story with the STIWA. I don't know what the acronym stands for, which develops automated machinery and software for manufacturing companies. So what they found out, right data, right time, right place, all good. Ramp up for new assembly machines is 30% slower, or faster, excuse me, shorter. And that to me is pretty impressive. And then of course, productivity for production lines increased by 15%. That's money in your pocket. So it's shorter, money in your pocket. So it's faster, money in your pocket. And the IT integration costs decrease, saving you money 35%. That hits on all cylinders. That is digital transformation from my perspective. I like it.
Yep.
All right. That's go out. You got to go out to Hitachi Vantara, Vantara, that's one, and look for Lumada. That is shining the light on data, illuminating data. You get it. Pretty cool name. Go out there, find out more. Great people, great company, and they want you to be successful. On to the next one. Let's go.
All right. We ready for
Let me
Rob
share it.
Kalwarowsky's post? You gonna share it, Scott?
Right there, baby.
Okay, so first of all, it's funny, right? So there is a couple laying in bed together, for those of you who maybe can't see it. And what she's thinking in her head is he's probably thinking about other women because their backs are towards each other. And what it shows what he's really thinking is, I wonder why we have so many bearing failures when we use filter cots and induction heaters. So his mind is on work. She's thinking that he's thinking about another woman. And so to me, this highlights something really important, because we talk a lot about machine reliability, but if we want good reliability out of our machines, see, people take care of machines. So people have to have good reliability too. So this highlights a thing in not only our personal world, but in our professional life as well. So here we go.
All right, there it is. All right.
It's another one of my famous little pictures.
You want me to reduce the size of what I'm sharing?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So stop sharing the post now.
You're causing a lot of problems here. Let me just do that. Go for it. There it is.
All right. So look. This is what happens as human beings, right?
Right.
Personally, professionally, and this happens to men and women. It's just like, it's part of the way life is set up. I don't know why it's set up this way, but it just is, right?
Okay.
We get stuck in our own heads sometimes because we hear what I call the voices, right? There are the voices that are telling us, oh, like in the case of the meme where, you know, the wife thinks he's not thinking of her. He's thinking of another woman. And it has nothing to do with that at all, right? So we hear these things. We think that they're valid when they're really invalid. And it keeps us from doing all sorts of things, right? Like, for example, maybe there's a presentation we want to make. Maybe there's a pitch we want to make at work. Right. And we don't, because we're thinking, oh, no one's ever going to listen. Everyone's going to think it's awful and I won't move forward. It has. What do you think, Scott, about that?
Well, I just FYI, if I'm distracted and if my wife thinks I'm thinking about it, I can rest assured that I am thinking about getting some cracklins at Bergeron's and wondering when I'm going to be able to coordinate that drive up to Bergeron's and put on my mask. That's pretty much it. I'm a pretty simple guy. Continue.
All right. Another thing with the voices get in the way of, you know, maybe we're in a meeting and we got a question, but we're afraid to ask because we maybe think the question is stupid or people are going to think we're stupid. So we end up not asking it.
Right.
And then sometimes we have a really good idea and the voices are telling us that it's awful. awful and no one will listen and just forget about it because you're going to make yourself look like an idiot. So we never take any action on it. See, there's duality in life, right? And in this case, the duality in this case is, hold on, I'm getting my marker.
Okay.
There are valid voices and there are invalid voices, right? Sometimes what?
We're all about valid here.
Valid, right? I mean, sometimes we do get valid feedback from our spouse or our boss or whatever. Okay. And so we have to take that into account. But all this nonsense that makes us get stuck inside our own head, it's all invalid. And it's really important. The first step in combating it is to recognize it for what it is. It's all garbage. So that's what that means.
Nancy, what do? You just sort of ignore it? I mean, you could be something like me where I just pretty much, I'll listen to it, but it's Here's the important step is you don't identify with it. Now you're going to really think I'm a nut, Scott, but you talk back to the voices. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe it's going to be awful, but I'm going to go for it. It's really important to keep them in check. These voices are bullies in our lives. And what do? How do you handle a bully, Scott? How do I handle a bully? I can't do it on this on the old Facebook Live here. I normally just walk away.
Yeah, in essence, what do you do to a bully to get him to stop?
Call him out.
Yeah, you call him out. You call him out on what he's doing, and what happens if it's really a bully? They skulk away, don't they? That's what happens. Yeah. That's what happens to the voices when you call them out, and you recognize them for being invalid. You call them out, and you say, "I'm going to move forward anyway." It's really important.
It is move forward, especially now. I mean, especially now when we just got so much going on. I mean, we're getting hammered with thoughts and ideas and positions and this and that and more webinars coming in and this information, do that. And from my perspective, when I'm looking at a business, I see a bunch of 5-alarm fires just because of the 2-finger death punch that we got from the COVID. And I'm sitting there thinking, which one do I focus on first? What do I do? And you're absolutely correct. Do I do this? What if I don't do this? Is that going to be a problem? And then you get in this sort of unusual position of, not moving forward. And you got to move forward. You got to make mistakes. You just got to feel comfortable with doing that. By the way, if you're looking out on that live, here's a manufacturing right here. We're celebrating with 30 other manufacturing plus companies on celebrating the women and men of manufacturing. So go out to heroesofmanufacturing.com and nominate, doggone it, nominate. All right, let's go on to sort of a COVID type of thing. Now, this gent, he was on the podcast, and he is the founder, CEO of a organization or company called Disaster Avoidance Experts. Long domain, but you get it. You get what's in it, right?
Managing the consequences of failure.
That's right.
Right? And that's what they're doing.
That's exactly correct. And so there's an article that I will have out on IndustrialTalk.com, and it links to this. And it's a fairly lengthy article. Now, what it does do, and his name is, of course, Gleb Tsipursky, right? Tsipursky with a T. So Dr. Gleb Tsipursky, and it's called The Trap of Getting Back to Normal in the Pandemic. So you know as well as I do, we're constantly being pushed. We're constantly being moved forward. And there's such a desire to do that. We're trying with heart and soul, companies, people. How do I get back to normal? How do I, and there are 3 components. How do I survive this whole, whatever we call it now? How do I rebuild? And then how do I prosper, right? Those are sort of the journeys and how do I make money? You got all that. And that's what's so important. So everybody is being hammered with this. And so Dr. Gleb goes down, and it's a pretty lengthy one, but he does have I'm just telling you, he's got a video out there. and talks about it, which is good. And then, of course, he's got on audio, which is good. So you don't have to hear me sort of encapsulate it, which I highly recommend that you go out. And one of the guiding or the general sort of themes that are swarming through this is that, okay, there is a risk of getting back or trying to pursue to get back to what is considered normal. And unfortunately, I don't think that is a thing that we can do. Do you agree with that?
Well, the way I look at it, Scott, is, when does anything ever stay the same? No doubt about it. This is a huge thing, and it's devastating. But if you look back in history, there have been even more devastating things that have happened. And although, things don't get back to normal, a new normal comes. And that doesn't necessarily mean something worse. Maybe something better might even come of it. So that's the way I choose to look at it. I don't choose to look at it as doom and gloom. It's something else we have to get through. It's that duality in life again. There's good and there's evil. It's never going to be easy street. So whatever comes our way, we need to figure out how to manage the consequences of failure for ourselves, because it's never going to be easy street.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think his conclusion in this particular, and it's a lengthy article, don't get me wrong, and he goes down and he brings in the doctor realm of conversation. But what I like is when we start talking about the conclusion, it's important to be agile. And I think that's even the pre-pandemic, it's still important to be agile and being resilient. We need to be more resilient today than ever before. And I think that's where we're at. Keep in mind that even if your company is not able to make the best decisions on the onset of the pandemic, you can still steer it back in the right path. And I think I like that fact that we're moving forward. It's like we don't have that crystal ball, right? We just don't. No. That says, hey, go here, do this. This is great. This is wonderful. You're just going to have to, instead of being taken back and not moving, you got to move forward and just hope that you can make good decisions. But the reality is that, do you think this is just, the virus is going to be around for a little while?
A little while.
There's no cure tomorrow, right?
It's a little while, yep. It won't be forever, but it'll be a while.
Yeah. And so take this opportunity, this time, to be able to be more agile, to figure out how to prosper in this. And you're going to be better off, right? I mean, if you come out of this in a better position, you're stronger. You're more resilient. You can't help but, right? You've honed your message. Go ahead. Scott,
do you remember the book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Yeah.
You remember this? Is it Ken Blanchard? I know this just came to mind. I wasn't prepared with this, but the gist of it is there's these mice and they had a bunch of cheese and then they ate it all and the cheese was gone. And this one mouse refused to go look for new cheese. He was just waiting for more cheese to appear. So again, it's just the way of the world. Now, this is an awful thing that's happening.
Yep.
But another awful thing will happen. It's just part of life. So we have to go find our new cheese. And there's always new cheese, but we have to find it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're spot on. All right, we're going to have to wrap it up. We've been at it for about 25 minutes. Now, one of the things that I want to just point out again, RCM Training Online is out there, right?
Right.
It's there. You want to know about RCM Training? It's out there. RCM Training Online. You'll talk to Nancy. She is tops in her game when it comes to reliability-centered maintenance. Also, go out to IndustrialTalk.com. And it's not just this. It's all of the podcasts. It's all of the information, and taught by great and wonderful industrial leaders dedicated to your success, most definitely. One last parting shot. Do you like crackling?
No.
Oh, jeez.
You wanted me to say yes, didn't you?
So right now, Bergeron's meat has the best cracklings known to man. It is 5 hard hats strong, industrial, great stuff. 5 hard hats. Not 4, 5 hard hats.
All the more for you, Scott.
And my dogs, because they like it too. All right, we're going to be back definitely next Monday. We're going to be talking more about what we got. One last bit of information.
What?
Which is no. See, we've got this week coming up on Heroes of Manufacturing in Industrial Talk Podcast. Heroes of Manufacturing. We've got a couple of that are going to be highlighted there. We've got Cap Logistics, a gentleman by the name of Alvaro, and we're going to be talking a little bit about sourcing and leadership there. We got an Infor, and his name is David Whitfield. Cool, David Whitfield. And then Jason Kay with IMS EVOLVE. All on the Industrial Talk Podcast. Fantastic stuff. All right, Nancy, we got to wrap it up.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.